So today I want to show you how to create the paper cutout effect. Alright, so we're gonna need a couple of images for this. So I'm gonna use this image to create this effect for this tutorial. Then we're gonna need texture number 1. Then we're gonna need paper texture number 2. And on the left side you can see that I've actually specifically for this tutorial I created a couple of tape brushes for you which are available. Alright, now let's get started. So we've got our empty canvas right over here and we want to start off by cutting out this guy. Now for this effect we need 2 duplicates, so I'm going to press Command J twice, and the first one is going to be the subject and the second one is going to be the paper. Now let's first cut out the subject, so we're going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to press W on the keyboard and I'm going to use my quick selection brush tool to create a nice selection of this guy. And this should be fairly easy for Affinity Photo because he is pretty distinct from the background at most places, let's say. Now, if you select too much, you can hold Alt and deselect, let's say. And if you want to have a better view of what you're selecting, you can press Q to enter quick mask mode. And now it's going to make it probably a lot easier to make a nice selection. Alright, so there we go. I'm gonna press Q on the keyboard and now I'm just gonna mask this guy out. And I'm gonna press Command D to deselect and hide this layer for now. Now the second layer is gonna be our paper layer. So with this, we want to create this rough cutting line, let's say, of the scissors. So I'm gonna press L on the keyboard to select my freehand selection tool, or the lasso tool as I prefer to call it. And at the top right here, you want to select polygonal. Now, I'm just gonna very roughly cut around this guy, let's say. So I really want to make it look like it was actually a rough cutout with a scissors. And yeah, as you can see, you don't have to be precise and you don't have to be careful. You just select whatever you want, but just make sure you're staying outside of your subject. Alright, so this looks pretty good to me. Now, I want to include this part as well, so I'm gonna hold Alt or Option, and I'm just gonna make sure I'm gonna deselect a bit right over here as well. Something like so, and this looks about good to me. Now, let's mask this guy out as well, and press Command D, and now if I hide my background, you can see this is our paper layer, and this is our subject layer. So let's import both of these into our document. I'm going to press select both. I'm going to press Command C, bring them into my document and press Command V and just position him somewhere in the middle. All right, now let's start off by paper texture number 1. So that is this layer right here. I'm just going to press Command C and I'm going to import it into our document, and let's zoom out. Let's actually position this properly, something like this, and I want to bring this all the way to the background, so something like this. Now I want to change the color. As in the original, I turned it dark blue, let's say, so let's do the same for this one. So I'm gonna press Command U on the keyboard to create a hue and saturation layer, and here I can change the color. So to get some nice dark blue, I have to go here, and then I can increase or decrease the saturation if I want to. So let's decrease it a little bit, and now I'm just gonna make it a whole lot darker. Maybe this looks fine. Now you sometimes see this little line here at the top, and that is, I don't know, some artifact. So what I can do to remove this is grab my marquee tool, and I'm just gonna make a very quick selection at the top right here and make sure I'm gonna select both of these masks and just press delete, and now it should be gone. Alright, now this looks good. Let's go to grab our second texture, and that is this texture right over here. So with this texture selected, I'm gonna press Command C, bring it over to our document, and I'm gonna position it right above our paper layer. So I'm going to press Command V right here, and now I just want to reposition it so that it looks nice. And we just need to cover our guy, so something like this looks about fine to me. Now I want to clip this paper layer and actually call this one crumbled paper, or paper crumbled, and I want to clip this to my paper layer. So I'm just going to click and drag over my paper layer, and then I'm going to release, and let's hide the subject for now. This is basically what you'll end up with. So this layer is what we're ending up with. Now, I want this paper to be white, so I don't want it to have this brownish color. I want it to be more white, so I'm going to press Command U on the keyboard with and create a hue saturation layer above my paper crumbled layer. And I'm just going to decrease the saturation almost white, something like this. Now, if I want to strengthen the effect of the crumbled paper, let's say, I can create a levels adjustment layer by pressing Command L and then increase the black levels and slide the white levels a little bit to the left. And this looks pretty good. Now, let's show our subject layer, and this already looks very, very fun. Now, what we want to do with our subject, we want to adjust it a little bit. So we want to give it extra sharpness so it actually looks like it was printed on paper in a magazine. So with our subject layer selected, I'm gonna create a high pass filter, and I'm just going to increase the radius a little bit to the right until where I can see, let's say, the details a little bit, and that is about here. And then I'm going to change my filter to overlay. So this is the before and this is the after, and you can see a slight change in sharpness. Now, if I want to drastically increase the effect, I can do so just by increasing this slider a little further. So actually this looks pretty good, so let's keep it like this. Alright, now to enhance this effect, we can also create a clarity filter. So let's do that as well. And just increase the clarity a whole lot more. And of course, we want to clip it to our subject. So let's do that right here. And also we can add some noise. Even though the image is already pretty noisy, let's just add some noise for the effect, let's say. So I'm gonna go to my live filters and I'm gonna add noise. And I'm just gonna increase the noise a little bit, just like this. All right. Now, to make this guy blend even more with the crumbled paper, what I can do is I can select my subject layer and I'm gonna go to the blend mode, and then I'm gonna go to multiply. And now it actually looks even more like he is actually part of this piece of paper. Now, because he gets a little dark, we can go back to our paper layer and we can go into our levels adjustment layer, and we can tweak it here a little bit further if we want to. So if we want to show some more brightness, we can do so. If we want to increase or decrease the contrast, we can do that right here. Alright, now to create the effect that this paper is actually laying on our background, let's say, what we want to do is we want to select our paper layer and we want to create a layer effect. And we're going to create a very slight outer shadow. So let's actually zoom in on this part right here. And this looks very, very ugly. So what I want to do is maybe blur my paper layer just a tiny little bit. It looks a bit off, to be honest. That looks a bit better. And I want to create a drop shadow as well. So let's select the paper layer and let's create an outer shadow. And let's increase the opacity to about 70%, let's say. And you just want to create a very slight radius, so maybe 1 or 1.5 pixel maybe. Let's go for 1.5 pixel. And we want to change the angle to, let's say, something like this. And set the offset just a little bit to maybe 1.5 pixel as well. And we can play with the intensity if we want to, but I think we don't really need to. And that just gives the effect that this paper is actually laying on top of another paper. Alright, so now there's one more thing left to do, and that is to import our tape. So I'm going to create a new pixel layer, and I'm just going to select either one of these tape brushes. So let's go for the first one, press B on the keyboard and just decrease it a whole lot. And just position it wherever you like. So maybe right here I want a tape. Let's grab another one. Let's grab this crumbled one. Let's resize it. Let's create a new pixel layer for this one, and let's click once and just use the move tool to position it anywhere. So maybe I want one right here, and maybe I want one more, so that is going to be this one. Create a new pixel layer, press B on the keyboard, reduce the size a whole lot, and just click once and just use the move tool to position it just like so. Now, to make this effect more realistic, we also want to add a slight drop shadow to our tape, let's say. So I'm going to group all of these together, select all of them, press Command G, and then I want to go into my layer effects, create an outer shadow, and same thing. What I can also do, by the way, is just copy this one. So I'm going to press Command C on this one, go over here, go to edit and then paste FX, and you can see that we've got this very nice slight drop shadow applied to all of our tapes. Now, as mentioned, this IAMRENSI tape brush pack is available for just $2, and if you appreciate what I'm doing, you can just pay whatever you want. And if you want to check out more brushes, then I highly recommend you to check out the Ultimate Brush Bundle, super Black Friday sale, so link is down below. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I see you in the next one. Cheers.